Now, I know California's also got its own version of this little deal. Cash-strapped California inches closer to handling taxpayer home loans to illegal immigrants. Yeah, we're going to talk about that one as well. This one down in Oregon, this is this is straight up racist. This is straight up exclusionary. Hacienda Community Development Corporation is participating in a taxpayer-funded down payment assistance program that gives money to non-citizens to buy homes in Oregon while excluding American citizens from eligibility, the ones paying the bills here. This is according to records provided to the Daily Caller. Hacienda CDC is reportedly offering $30,000 for down payment assistance for eligible new home buyers through their Camino a Casa, like Pathway to a House program. According to a screenshot first reported by ex-user Oregon Citizen, clients work closely with financial coaches and HUD-certified housing counselors throughout the entirety of the home buying process. In addition to mortgage readiness, get ready for that mortgage, and financial fitness workshops, we provide various opportunities for down payment assistance, the organization states. Okay. Yeah. So I'm a real estate broker. I'm a managing broker. I'm a real estate appraiser. I mean, these types of programs pop up all the time. They're usually state bond programs, and they're to help the, folks that don't have the income, don't have the assets, don't have the down payment, try and get a little bit of a leg up to get into their first home. Housing here, especially in the West Coast, housing everywhere is just skyrocketed, hasn't it? But housing here on the West Coast, particularly Oregon, relative to just affordability in Oregon is horrific. It's horrific. Now, it's a big blue state as well as Washington. Look at that. In California, yeah, look at those. Affordability, not there. You've constricted the supply. Yeah. So many factors going into this, but so much of this has to do with poor political leadership and decisions that have been made. So I thought, you know what, this sounds kind of like nonsense. Let's get into it. And then all you got to do is basically look at this. Hacienda. Hey, there's a nice new family right there. Let me get my yellow deal here going. So grants for first-time home buyers in the state of Oregon. Hey, that sounds great. Up to $30,000. Now, this is basically for the down payment. So if you've got the average home in Oregon, what's median home price in Oregon? Here in state of Washington, I forget what it is. Western Washington, I think is like $800,000. It's something just insane like that. So say it's, let's call it 600,000. So you want a 20% down payment, you need $120K. All right. So here's 30 towards your 120. Okay. So maybe we're looking at a condo, couple hundred, 300 grand, 20% down, 60K. We're still halfway there. We're short, but you can't start giving out $100,000 because otherwise it's going to attract too much attention. And it's not going to work out well, right? Not going to work out well. Somebody's going to say, what's going on? Well, like I am right here, right now, because our next, this is literally their mock-up for advertising this program. Conditions. Here are the conditions. Only exclusionary, only for people who are not American citizens. Not American citizens. Is that legal? Is this legal? For example, this is what the examples they're giving. The ITIN holders, those are people without, they're newcomers. We'll just leave it at that, right? DACA recipient, refugees, asylees, green card holders, amongst others, must have pre-approval for a mortgage loan. So you have gone into a lender and you've gotten a pre-approval letter. Looks based on this, you can afford this. So you've got that pre-approval letter, which means absolutely nothing. It means zero. It means you've had a 2-minute conversation with a loan officer. Don't get me wrong, it's better than nothing. But full underwritten is what I recommend people do. And that means they've gone all the way through basically the underwriting process of having their loan looked at by an underwriter and stating, yeah, there's a high probability you're going to get this loan. With a pre-approval, all it is a confirmation that you had a quick conversation with a loan officer, and they're basically saying, well, based on credit report, the appraisal, title report, and a bunch of other stuff, they might qualify for a mortgage. That's all a pre-approval states. It means nothing. When people say, oh, I've got a pre-approval letter, I'm like, good for you. That's awesome. Hey, 2 thumbs up for doing a tiny little bit of work. Better than nothing, but it really means nothing in the big picture of things because so many things can go wrong on all of the contingencies that lenders place on a pre-approval letter, the ones I just talked about, appraisal and all that other good stuff. Never mind just underwriting in general. Yeah, hey, what about this bankruptcy? Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you about that. But, I got 2 bankruptcies in the last 7 years. Got that short sale. And then, I got that foreclosure on my record. Yeah, I didn't pay my car loan for a long time. So, there was this issue with the bank. Yeah, any of that stuff, any one of those little things can, boom, gone. You're out the door. But this one, only for people who are not American citizens. I mean, they came right out and said it right in their first line. How is that legal? You have literally excluded everybody else. Yeah, those of you who are paying the bills on this bad boy, yeah, you can't apply. You are excluded. You are literally excluded. Only for people who are not American citizens. Not American citizens. Yeah. Okay. All right. Right? Absolutely insane. But that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. I had somebody email me the other day and say, hey, Sean, we got all these businesses that are moving and all these people and taxpayers that are moving out of California. They're moving to Texas. They're moving to Florida. They're moving to, I did a video on that. And they said, I didn't address the fact of how many of, folks with Democrat leanings are moving, and are they taking their way of life with them to these typically, red states, red cities, red counties, whatever it is. And I didn't address, their concerns. Well, it's kind of implied, because it's kind of implied that you've got this stuff coming. If you've got folks coming into your system, if you are electing officials that want to go down Democrat policies, this is one of those deals, right? How about the one from California? Cash-strapped California inches closer to handing taxpayer home loans to illegal migrants. Yeah, this has only got, I think, one more step to go in the California legislature. And of course, Gruesome Newsom will approve this. But what it's doing is we'll take a quick look at this. I'm just going to read a little bit of this. California lawmakers are one step closer to making hundreds of millions of taxpayer-funded home loans available to residents living in the country illegally. In what world does this make sense? Hey, how about we have you remain in Mexico? We'll just do that. You remain in Mexico. We'll set a court hearing on your asylum status. And then once you're in the country and you've got asylum status based on what the courts come up with, then we can talk about you possibly, you'll get your work visa, and then we'll talk about you having the ability to borrow some money based on need like other Americans, but not make it based on, hey, you're illegal and, you've got paperwork that others don't, which makes you eligible for these grants, whatever it is. It's down payment assistance, right? So Democrats on the California Senate Appropriations Committee unanimously approved AB 1840 to move forward on Thursday. The bill has at least one chance to be struck down on the Senate floor, where Democrats wield majority power, never going to happen, before it lands in Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. So California residents, Oregon residents, how does this sit with you? does this seem like a good deal? Hey, yeah, you can just come into the United States illegally, number one, and they are illegal. If they've come in illegally, we're going to call them illegals. And then they're going to have an opportunity to get help with their down payment that is exclusive if you are a United States resident. So they'll be able to buy land, they'll be able to buy a home, they'll be able to buy a condo, whatever it is. And you, the tax-paying citizen who are a resident, yeah, you don't get access to this program. How is that even legal? Where's the level playing field? Where is the inclusivity? There is none. There is none. It's kind of like, hey, we want to be inclusive of all opinions and all voices and all ideas, unless they're from a conservative. And then we're just going to cut them off right at the you-know-what. And we're going to toss those ideas and those concerns and those opinions in the garbage can, because that's literally what you've got going on. Exclusionary to the nth degree here. The eligibility requirements include being a non-citizen. Republican Oregon State Representative Ed Deal told the Daily Caller he received confirmation from Business Oregon that Hacienda CDC is using these funds for non-citizens while excluding American citizens. American citizens in Oregon are struggling to find and buy a home. Oregon has a massive supply issue, let alone the demand factor. And affordability also right up there. I think pound for pound, Oregon's housing issue is as severe as anywhere. We have a severe housing shortage in this state. I am appalled that the hard-earned, limited tax dollars of Oregonians are being used to prioritize home ownership for certain non-U.S. citizens. Oregon can't end the state-sponsored discrimination soon enough. I mean, it is state-sponsored discrimination. That's what it is. Yeah. I mean, I know you paid money into this through your tax dollars, but it's not a program for you. It's an ixnay on that one. We're not. Yeah, you can't come to the fountain of opportunity on this one. You're a no-go. Because why? Yeah, this is for non-citizens only. And you're like, non-citizens only to buy real estate in the United States. Okay. Yeah. All right. Makes no sense, does it? But in a state like Oregon, state like California, it's share the wealth with everybody, but not U.S. citizens. Yeah. Hacienda CDC is partially funded through the Economic Equity Investment Program, the EEIP, an equity-based beneficiary project established through the Economic Equity Investment Act, which the Oregon legislature passed in 2022. Of course they did. The organization receives millions in Oregon state taxpayer money and federal taxes through the Department of through HUD, Housing and Urban Development, according to its recent annual report. The EIP was originally given $15 million to distribute to organizations that hold their equity requirements, mainly being not a U.S. citizen. The only people that are, excluded are the ones paying the bills. So how's that work out? And I shouldn't say that. I should say there are folks that have work visas that are paying money into taxes, but the percentage of those are super slim compared to those who are straight up residents who are funding all of this ridiculousness. So in 2024, the state legislature allocated another $8 million to the EIP to fund organizations, including Hacienda, that provide culturally responsive services to support economic stability, self-sufficiency, wealth building, and economic equity among disadvantaged individuals, families, businesses, and communities that are not U.S. citizens. Only non-citizens need apply. Yeah, that's literally this program in Oregon. It's just madness. It's crazy. So people of Portland, people of Oregon, you guys voted for this. You guys voted, the knuckleheads you have in office, you guys voted for this. If this is something you're interested in, hey, you're getting it. This is your thing. This is your deal. And the rest of us sit by and go, that is a terrible decision, because that is literally the definition of exclusionary. No loan for you. No assistance for you. No down payment assistance for you. You are a resident. You are a citizen of the United States. Nope. No go. No go. Critics told the Daily Caller that the act allows organizations like Hacienda CDC to discriminate against residents based on race and citizenship status. Absolutely. 100%. How can you see this any other way? Well, we're just trying to give a leg up to those in need. Yeah, well, there's a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest in the state of Oregon that have needs too, and they're called citizens. Yeah, so there's that. So this whole concept of, oh, you know what? Citizens don't need any help. They're all good. I mean, 2 thumbs up for them. Yeah, they're fine. But all these newcomers, we need to give them everything that we possibly can. And so that's what they're doing. Participants have to be considered part of a disadvantaged community. Isn't that anybody who can't afford a house? I mean, that's damn near everybody now, isn't it? And I'm in real estate saying this. Affordability has become a huge, huge issue. Massive issue. People just can't afford homes. And when you've got these interest rates the way that they skyrocketed like they did, that we knew where they were coming. And now we're down. Let's talk about that for a second. Interest rates are now about 6.5. They'll trickle down to 6.25 here over the next couple of weeks, I think. Will they get down under 6? We've already got the September Fed cut priced into the market. I say they go 6 1/8, something like that, probably in the next month, something like that. Now, those are my predictions. Even still, you want to run the numbers at, call it 750, 850 for a home, 20% down with 6.5% mortgage. Those are steep mortgage payments. So, you making 15 grand a month, 20 grand a month. Yeah, you've got a shot at making this go. So you got to basically have dual incomes for sure. Or you got to be a tech bro making a crap ton of money to be able to afford in today's market due to the increased housing pricing. Can't you see the Democrats coming up with an idea of, well, we should just cap pricing on real estate as well, cap pricing on everything. I'm sure that'll work out just fine. Yeah, because pricing caps have really, really done good things for the communities they've been enacted in, right? Communism, anybody? Communism. So part of it, you got to be a part of a disadvantaged community, which includes non-citizens to be eligible for the EIP funding. Citizen status is considered an economic equity risk factor. An economic equity risk factor. What in the F is that? And that's just psychobabble non-speak, right? I mean, that's like listening to Kamala Harris. What? What did she say? What? Yeah. Wait a minute. Kamala. Or Republicans. Kamala. They like to call her that. And then people on the left just lose their effing mind, don't they? Kamala. Yeah, you held a leadership position in San Francisco, right? You did, didn't you? Kamala, you were the Attorney General for California. How did that go for California? And then you were the border czar. How did all 3 of those entities work out? California thriving? Not so much, right? So non-citizens residing in Oregon are eligible beneficiaries, the website states. They are non-citizens. You're excluded. You're paying the bills, but you're excluded. The organization's actions appear to violate its contract with the state by denying an application based on citizenship if the participant meets the other criteria. Recipients shall consider all eligible beneficiaries meeting 2 or more economic equity risk factors. Economic equity risk factors. That just to me spells out handout. Didn't have to earn it. Didn't earn it. DEI, right? And you know what? You know what this does is it might get a couple of people into homes, but they've also got 0 down into it typically. And they don't really qualify otherwise. So what that does is that increases, you got it, foreclosure, increases short sales. Every single time you get back to 100% financing, those numbers start to skyrocket because they've got no stake in the game. So, defaulting on something where they've got 0 of their own dollars in it. Well, it was a good run. We tried. We didn't get the appreciation we wanted. Market tanked in the wrong direction. So we're just going to let this bad boy go. Yeah, I'm sure they'll give us a loan down the road, and they will. you guaranteed these lenders will go, oh, you recently got your citizenship. Let's give you a loan. Yeah, about that pesky foreclosure you had back there. Well, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to give you one of these economic opportunity, disadvantage, whatever it is, nonsense loans. And, carry on. Vote Democrat. Vote Democrat. So I took a peek at this. This is just a bunch of gobbledygook lawyer nonsense. Hacienda CDC works with credit unions that offer mortgage loans for non-citizens who cannot get a social security number. Instead, these credit unions use an IRS loophole. And this is what I wanted to get into, the individual taxpayer identification numbers, the ITIN. That's what we read earlier, right? So you get this ITIN, and it's just a workaround for not being a citizen, for not having documented all the other stuff. If you are a U.S. citizen, you've got to have a job history. You've got to have money in the bank. You've got to have good credit. We haven't even talked about good credit. You've got to have all of this stuff lined up and in order, because after the Great Recession, the mortgage industry got railed on, as well as the appraisal industry, because of course it was our fault. We inflated those numbers. So ridiculous. But you've got this situation where they're handing out loans to folks who otherwise wouldn't qualify for them. So they come up with these programs like the individual taxpayer identification number. Yeah, we know you don't qualify otherwise, but we're going to give you this number because we need you to get to work. We need you to get to work, even though you're not a citizen. And that's how we're going to work around it. It's how we're going to allow millions and millions and millions of people in the United States. And, we're going to get you homes. We're going to get you homes. Those poor bastards paying the bills. Yeah, not so much. Not so much. And, that is just, it's nutty. It's nutty. Andrew Quinino, an attorney at Pacific Legal Foundation, a public interest law firm, told the Daily Caller that while he hasn't personally investigated Hacienda's possible discriminatory practices in detail, he believes Oregon has a recent pattern of racially discriminatory policies and programs that violate residents' constitutional rights. Because you've been excluded based on the fact that you are a resident and maybe you're white. Yeah, not for you. Not for you. But keep making those tax payments because, man, we need the money. These programs run out quick. Oregon cannot treat individuals differently based on race, except in very rare exceptions, nor can it have groups do so on its behalf, like this Hacienda CDC. Whole thing is, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And yet it's so representative of how things are handled in these big cities, in these big states that are blue run. Oh yeah. Give them a loan. Give them a loan. It's good. It'll be good for everybody. But it's exclusionary. I mean, it just straight is. It's discriminatory. No, you can't get one. So here's some stats. In the Portland metro, only 19% of residents can afford a median-sized home with a 5% down payment. Good luck with that. If you only got 5% down, that means you're financing 95% of it, the vast majority. Your payments are going to be grande. They're going to be big. The payments now are just insane because that pricing and then interest rates, everybody got used to that. Hey, I got a 3% mortgage. It's pretty good. I wish I could have got that 2.75%. Yeah, you and everybody else. We have the worst affordability, state economist Josh Laird told Oregon Public Broadcasting. Low vacancies and high prices indicative of a housing shortage. And I think that's clearly what we've been in for a while now. It's not just Oregon. It's a whole West Coast in general, right? West Coast, best coast. Yeah, for really high real estate pricing. So the article goes on to state some other things, which is we've had a housing crisis. We've had a housing shortage since before the Great Recession. And we haven't built our way out of it. You are millions. The U.S. needs to build 4.5 million new homes to address its housing deficit. And I think that needs to be 4.5 million new homes isn't going to do it. It's just not going to do it. You need to double that. And that's across the whole United States. And even then, you've got issues of affordability. Prices aren't going to go down. They're just going to sell a whole bunch more homes at where they're at. Prices will not drop. We do. And it's because you're building 9 million homes, boom, overnight isn't happening. It's just not happening. It's not a thing. You don't have the ability to build your way out of this. So that's why these programs are coming along and people are saying, you know what? We need to get these people into housing. We need to make them feel like they're true citizens of the United States, because then they'll vote Democrat. I mean, that's in the back of everybody's head, isn't it? Why'd you let 7 million people into the United States? Because they're going to vote Democrat? Yeah. Isn't that? I mean, what everybody's kind of thinking, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So if you are a Democrat, you should be, you should be happy with what's going on. I mean, unless you're, trying to buy a home in Oregon and you're a tax-paying citizen. Yeah. And you're a person in need. Yeah. But you're a citizen. You're host. But hey, keep voting blue. I'm sure that's going to work out. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.